Hello.
I'm saying I feel pleased also to acknowledge the presence of our distinguished guests. I feel pleased to...
Can we have the microphone system?
I feel pleased to acknowledge the presence of our distinguished guests who have set aside their important businesses to come and be with us. Some have traveled all the way from Senegal and outside. We feel very honored by your presence. It has big encouragement to the delegates to this Congress. My dear friends, Congress, I'd like to acknowledge strong honor, also humility, others. This is just how carried out in electing me Secretary General of the party.
Yeah.
For the confidence you have chosen to repose in me, let me simply say I do feel deeply honored by this question. Apart from honor, the emotion I feel strongest in me today is one of feeling of humility. I feel humbled in the face of the enormity of the challenges facing us, as together we have resolved here to embark on this project of starting a new party, a party which we hope, by the statements you made here, to be a serious party, not a party just in name. I do not have a lot to pledge or to promise on this occasion. I will simply say two things. I promise you that this constitution which you adopted yesterday, which is founded on the basis of values and principles which we have all agreed to guide us, this constitution I'll do my very best to respect and to make sure that it is respected in letter and in spirit. That is my first pledge to you. My second pledge is, in the face of the huge, enormous tasks ahead of us, I pledge for my part to give my very best effort. Every energy in me, I'm prepared to put in the realization of the project which we are together launching, that is the creation of the Gambia for all, as a party out to make a contribution to the political and social life of our country. Let me, before I proceed any further, also congratulate the other members who, like me, have just been elected as officers of our party, starting with the party national chairman, Saliu Momartal, who I personally know, a person with an impeccable career in the public service, both in the United Kingdom and in the Gambia, a person of great moral character, a person who has also in the context of preparations we've been involved in since July, have shown his abilities, leadership abilities. I think we couldn't have chosen a better person to fill the role of party national chairman at this crucial stage when our movement will be in need of a strong moral force to guide and advise us through. For the position of party treasurer, you have also elected Ndambu Ture, who also is no stranger to me. Our relations, both work and personal, go back, I believe, to 1974 or thereabouts. But more importantly, Ndambu has demonstrated beyond any shred of doubt not only his commitment to the party, but his ability to handle the most complicated financial and accounting tasks, plus, of course, his general leadership abilities. So again, I think it's very fortunate for me to have him elected by you as treasurer with whom I'm going to work. For the position of chief mobilizer, you have elected Bakary Sidi Fadera, who also, during this active phase, the past 3 months that we have been actively sensitizing and trying to organize for this Congress, has proven that he is a true man of the field. He has run across the country, and we have seen him operate on the field. And he's got a flair for organization and very good rapport with the populace. Again, I think it is to the good fortune of the party and to my humble self that you have chosen him to fill the role of party national mobilizer or party chief mobilizer. I welcome them and congratulate them. I offer them my hand of collaboration. I'll be happy to have them on board. Of course, these 3 or 4 national officers that you have elected here are not the totality of the leadership structure for the party. You remember when we read through the Constitution and approved it yesterday, you must have observed that our idea of leadership for our new party is that it will be exercised collectively through councils and committees that are provided for in the Constitution, so that these 4 officers that you have elected will have very little, if any, personal powers or discretion. We are going to have to work with committees which our Constitution provides should be filled not through the elective process, but through the process of appointment. Appointments to be endorsed and approved by the National Executive Committee that will be put in place, so that when the dust settles down and the profile of the leadership structure of the party becomes clear, you'll see that you are not taking the party and giving it to 1 or 2 people, you are giving it to a series of bodies, and I believe that is what you meant when you adopted this Constitution. Mr. Chairman, I just need to reassure the delegates, members of the party, including those who are not with us here. As I said, my pledge number 2 is that I will throw everything in me, every energy in this battle. Perhaps it will be my last battle in public life of my country, which I have had the honor of being part of for nearly 3 to 4 decades now. I see this as my last battle which I want to be involved in fighting. Every energy in me, every skill that I have at my disposal I promise you, I pledge here that I will devote them to the development of this party. From this moment on, there is no turning back. There are a lot of things to be done. There are certain priority actions which I have to highlight here as those that will occupy me and the leadership of the party over the next few weeks. Firstly, of course, is to move to have the party registered as required by the law and to have it formally launched in the field. We like to believe that this is something we can do in the next 2 to 3 weeks. In that connection, there is one task which we will together work on, which is to collect, as required by the Gambian law, at least 10,000 signatures of Gambians on the electoral roll spread across the country. So one of the priority tasks will be through you, the constituency committees, and through the area coordinators here to proceed effectively in a well-structured and organized manner to collect that minimum of 10,000 signatures, but I think we can collect much more than 10,000 signatures. With that in hand and all the other requirements of the law, we hope to approach the IEC, the body responsible for registering political parties in the country. We hope to approach them very shortly with our dossier and ask for party to be registered as a matter of right. We are not going to ask for a favor, but we are going to ask for what is our right. Following the registration and hopefully the launch of the party, I will have to, as a matter of priority, turn attention to putting in place the different leadership organs provided for in the Constitution which you approved here yesterday, and there are a few of them. There will be, firstly, the National Executive Committee of the party, which below this Congress is the highest organ of the party. Fortunately, putting it together is a simple matter because it's described already and prescribed by the Constitution, so we'll only apply what the Constitution says. It provides, in essence, that the National Executive Committee shall consist of 2 representatives of every constituency. So very soon, I will be contacting you, the chairman of your respective constituency committees, to look among yourselves and designate your 2 representatives that will sit with their colleagues from all over the country to constitute the National Executive Committee. The National Executive Committee, when put together, over 100 people, will normally, of course, be quite a large body, which may not be able to easy to operate very frequently. So its meetings may not be more than 2 to 3 times a year. But in between, it has the powers under the Constitution to set up a directorate to be called the Central Committee of the Party, which will be acting in its name in guiding the operation of the party on day-to-day basis. So that's, once the National Executive Committee is in place, the next thing will be to put in place the Central Committee, which will be the directorate of the National Executive Committee. Under that, taking care of the day-to-day leadership and operation of the party will be the National Executive Secretariat, which, according to the Constitution, will consist of the Secretary General of the party with about 10 or so assistant secretaries. So that is also another structure I will put in place immediately after the National Executive Committee and the Central Committee. We'll put in place the National Executive Secretariat. Of course, the Constitution also provides that when the party is fully operational, we shall endow ourselves with a body of distinguished Gambians, not necessarily members of the party, who we refer to as Board of Trustees, who will also act as moral guardians by the side of the party. It will also fall to the leadership of the party to put that in place in accordance with the stipulations of the Constitution. That apart, there will be what we call the mass organizations, the youth and the women. Your Constitution, which you have just approved, provided for the national, Gambia for All Women's League. The Gambia for All Women's League being the nomenclature you adopted for the women, the mass organization of women within the party. That also has to be put up as quickly as possible in keeping with the Constitution. It will entail somewhere down the line the convening of a day's or 1 or 2 days national conference of women of the Gambia for All party, who have the prerogative, according to the Constitution, to put together the National Executive Committee of the Women's League. That's also one of the things we will put in place as a matter of priority fairly soon. It is broadly the same pattern that the Constitution provides for the youths of the party. There is a body provided for to be called the Gambia for All Youth League, which also will be put together through a national conference of Gambia for All Youths, where they will elect their own national executive committee to take over the leadership of the Youth League and work with the party leadership. So those mass organizations also form part of my, what I call, emergency program to put in place as quickly as possible. Then there will be other standing committees. There will be the communication cell, communication being critical for our party, for any party, but particularly given the context in which our party is coming up. We are keen to handle communication with the best expertise that we can mobilize within ourselves. So it is therefore intended that we will set up a communication cell that will handle, advise, and direct much of our communication work to make sure that the right messages are put out and perhaps in a timely manner. Second committee we have to be putting in place shortly will also be the Finance Committee, who will work around the treasurer for purposes of working to raise the resources without which the work of the party will not be easy, and also managing those resources once they are secured and on a continuing basis according to rules and procedures you have already approved in the Constitution. Thirdly, there will be the National Organizing Committee, which has a huge role ahead of it. We just now elected Bakary Fadera to be the national mobilizer. He will head this committee, which also will be put together with the approval of the Central Committee of the party, and their role will be to help in spearheading the work that has already started with the setting up of the constituency committees that you represent here, but which still has a long way to go. The complete edifice, the complete structure provides for structures at the branch level, at the village level, at the constituency level, and at the area level. Similarly, it provides for comparative structures between Gambian communities in the diaspora who support the Gambia for All party. So it will be, we'll be seeing branches approved and chartered by the National Organizing Committee, hopefully in all the villages in the Gambia where we have supporters, but also among Gambian communities wherever they are in sufficient numbers who support our party, in the UK, in Senegal, in the USA, in Europe, and in the Middle East, wherever Gambians are found in sufficiently large communities who support our party. There is also provision, and we're going to work on that also, to set up a committee for discipline and conflict resolution. We can be quite optimistic that our party will work, but it's important to have a structure like that dedicated to help us resolve disputes and conflicts when they arise. So that committee also, the manner it should be set up is provided in the constitution you have adopted. It will now fall on me to initiate action to lead to its putting in place. We intend also, and your constitution provides for it, to put in place a body to be called the Research and Analysis Unit, whose role will be to help the party, particularly the party leadership, with research and informed analysis that will be a useful tool to the party leadership in formulating positions and policies on issues of national importance that will be arising from time to time. Nobody needs to accuse the party of elitism. It's no question of promoting elitism, but it's a recognition of the fact that running a modern party and aspiring to contribute to national affairs does require a certain amount of knowledge and intellectual input. And this research and analysis unit is provided for in the Constitution, which you have just approved, to help the party leadership with that kind of support. We're going to put in place urgently the body you have approved in the Constitution to be called the Political Education Unit. It is said that, I don't know how far it is true, that Thomas Sankara did observe that a soldier without education is what an armed robber, they call him, or something like that. I want to make an analogy and say party militants without suitable level of awareness are also not as helpful as those who have been equipped with certain level of awareness. And the Political Education Unit will have as its role on a continuing basis to help in raising capacity within the party and awareness generally. So that body also will have to put up very, very soon to work as a support to the leadership of the party. Finally, there will also be the social committee. Ours is a party out for political objectives, but we are also consisting of human beings. So the social needs, be it solidarity, be it entertainment, are also not overlooked in the Constitution, and the social committee will come in to help the party leadership in attending to those. These, therefore, will constitute my immediate term program of activities to get the party going as far as the leadership organs are concerned. But that's not all. We'll proceed, as I said, with completing and consolidating the base structures working through the organizing committee. I've referred to the constituency committees which are put up. In addition, we now have to go down below them and set up village charters and village committees in all the communities. Once that is in place and that's firmly consolidated, we want to put up another layer of structure to be called the area committee to serve as the party's the main engine to drive the life of the party at the level of areas. We have had the country divided into 12 areas, and each of them will have a committee elected by you yourself to lead the work of the party in that specific area. Similarly, the diaspora, as I said, is an integral part of the party. That's our supporters who are in the diaspora. They too, wherever they are in large numbers in any town or city will be encouraged and organized into village branches of the party. And where we have several branches in any country, we will encourage them to form themselves into an area committee of the party in those areas. These are also part of the immediate term plans which we'll be working on. Once that is done, we will immediately embark on a detailed meet the people tour, if you like to call it, meet the people tour. We want to go around the whole country, as well as in the diaspora, wherever we have supporters, to be our first formal contact with the masses of our mass following of our party. It should be an occasion for us to listen to them, maybe also explain a little bit about the party, but listen to them and get their advice as to the way forward. This is also one of the emergency actions that I intend to lead within a very short time. Mr. Chairman, these are what I see as my emergency or immediate term work. I need to say or repeat here that you have impressed on us at this Congress and even before that what you want in this country, what the country calls for, is a party which will be a force for good for this country. The country is at a situation where it cannot be said that a new party in the mold of the one we have in mind is going to be one too much. We think there is a crying need for a serious political force to emerge, one whose primary objective will be not to forward my own political ambition or the political ambition of any other person, but one that is out to take its place on the political landscape of this country for now and for the future. We want a party which we should make a vital and continuing contribution to the political and social life of our country, whether in the government or not in the government. We want a party which will develop and stay as a national institution, like it is done in most major democracies. That political parties are not just there for immediate term gains of the leadership, but more devoted to promoting a particular cause they believe in, particular values that they want to see promoted in the country, which values and which causes they can support, as I say, while in the government or but not even in the government. So this is the kind of party you have asked us to do, to set up, and this is the kind of direction in which I want to lead that party. Because the challenges facing our country are enormous. They are really enormous. I wouldn't even attempt to enumerate all of them here. Some 24 years of military dictatorship of the type that we experience here has left the country politically, has decimated the political class, has left the country politically polarized along all manner of fault lines. We have a situation now where all of a sudden, a phenomenon we didn't know before emerged and seems to be taking root, where people talk in terms of their tribes, or they talk in terms of their faith or religion, or even in terms of their generation, as if the country is at war, the old against the young, the one ethnic community against another ethnic community, the women against the men, or, if you like, people of one religious sect against another. This is the part of the political legacy we are left with by dictatorship and bad governance. and it's a reality we have to face. It's really tragic because we had prided ourselves in this country of the sense of oneness, which since independence has been cultivated to the point that we took it for granted that all Gambians accept that they are one and the same. To sit back and see things go back to a situation where we only define ourselves in relation to the village we come from or the ethnic community or the language we speak, or we define ourselves as to whether we belong to the young or to the old, I think that's a very major setback politically. Economically, the country is no better. The economy has been badly ruined, as you know. The productive basis for our economy, be it tourism, be it services, be it agriculture, have seen consistent decline over a period of 22 years. Some sectors like agriculture are virtually collapsed. How do you run a country with an economy where productivity is so low? And it's low largely because of badly utilized investment, but overwhelmingly it's because of bad governance. It goes along with corruption, inefficiency, and all those things. If you don't get the economy right, of course you create social problems. Social problems in the Gambia, we have a lot of it, we all know. I think we have coined a term which in itself captures the reality of the enormity of the social, we call it Bakary. I have read economics in many schools, but I've never heard of an economy which developed or recognized Bakary or illegal immigration as a sector of activity. But such is the situation of our country and our economy that desperation has been forcing our young people to think primarily of immigration upon leaving school. If anybody is in any doubt, go to any high school and talk to the students in the final class and ask them. If there are 60 of them, without hesitation, I'll bet that 50 of them are dreaming of leaving the country. They have no hope in their country. Then there are so many other challenges. We don't talk about the environment. Look at our urban centers. Life has been made so miserable by conditions in which the population live, and being made worse every day with the new environmental challenges, whether it's climate change, whether it's soil erosion, whatever you have. These are huge problems that are affecting and threatening the very livelihood of our people and their lives themselves. A large number of problems are there, as I said. If I try to cite them, maybe it will keep us here all the afternoon. But I believe that a large part of this is governance related, and a large part, when you talk about governance, relates to the leadership, the quality of leadership we've had inflicted on us, because it was most time not our choice. Bad leadership is a terrible pain. We have a situation where we enunciate the best principles in our Constitution, democracy, separation of powers, checks and balances, but in reality, with nothing like that obtained. We had an excessively overbearing presidency, which has its hands in everything, which over time has reduced the parliament, the legislative arm, to just a rubber stamp institution. It has intimidated and cowed the judiciary into submission, so that day in and day out you see people being dragged to courts, and the courts having no choice but to do what the judiciary told them. It hasn't stopped at that. It has, in its role of coordinating the activities of the different government sectors, literally taken over whereby ministries are reduced to just listening to what directives come from the President's office. As a result, even the reduced capacity left in our system is most of the time underutilized. It is the explanation for the gross state of inefficiency of our public services, not to talk of the corruption that goes along with it. These and many, many challenges are what beset our country today. So if a party like ours is coming up, it's important that we bear those points in mind, that this is the situation we are out to contribute our quota in changing it. And as I said, should the people of this country exercise their right to put us in charge, we will do our best. But even if that is not the case, we want, as a serious party outside of the government, to continue to press and take a firm stand for the necessary change that our situation calls for. I will not go too far into this because it is our intention very shortly to publish our vision, the vision that our party has for our society and our country. And most of these issues will be spelled out there in much greater detail than I can try to do them here, in terms of diagnosing the problems as we see them, but also our ideas for dealing with those problems. Basically, this is how we want to proceed, inform the Gambians about what we want to do. Finally, Mr. Chairman, I'd just like to be allowed to take some time to offer thanks because this event, in terms of the effort that went into bringing it about, but also in terms of the work that has been accomplished here, the event calls for due credit to be given to the many, many quarters where it is deserved. My first thanks will go to yourself, Mr. Chairman, for, of course, providing the effective direction in your role as chair to direct the proceedings over the past 3 days with a lot of competence, with a flair for this kind of work, and with a lot of authority. We thank you very much. We appreciate it all the more because this is a new party, and when we planned to stage this Congress, for the person to preside over our proceedings, we placed a lot of store by the stature of that person, because we know that has a direct bearing with the image that will be given of our Congress and our party. So we are happy that you have filled that bill admirably. We thank you. We thank you. We thank your two vice chairpersons, Madam Mama Jamba and Mr. Amadou Lo, both of them senior party members who have kindly agreed to stand and assist you in your role as chair. And of course, in that bracket is included Buramanding Jaite, the Secretary to the Congress, plus his three able assistants, Malamin Baro, Ablai Keita. Who's the third one? The third one is, who's the third one? There were three assistants. Who's the third one? Anyway, all your assistants, we associate them and thank them for the contribution they've made. Second, I return to our guests and thank them for coming along. Most of them were here for the opening ceremony, but they have again come back. This is tremendous support we have from you. We are very much encouraged. We appreciate it. The delegates, members of the GFA, I can call you comrades. You have sacrificed tremendously. Many of you are, in fact, farmers at the height of your annual activities, but you have not hesitated one moment to set all that aside to come and be with us for 3 days, some of us 4 days. Nobody can ask for stronger evidence of commitment to our party, and I thank you very much. You have done your best. Our hosts, Jembe Hotel, I don't think we could have come by a better hosts for their hospitality, for providing us most commodious facilities, for the care with which they followed us throughout the 3 days, including tolerating the noise and all the forms of nuisance we create. We appreciate and thank the management and staff of the hotel for their hospitality. The entertainers, the Jaliba is reminding me. We thank you very much. Your contribution is very significant in making our proceedings not only useful but enjoyable, which goes part of it. We appreciate your input and thank you very much. Particular thanks, I believe, are owed to the organizers, all those who have been involved in the planning and organizing this event, starting with the steering committee, which was set up on the 13th of July to prepare for the party's registration, and a key part of which work is the convening of this Congress. When we set ourselves 2 months to 3 months to call up this Congress, there are many of us who believed we were being overambitious. Only the most optimistic among us thought we could do it. I feel proud that we have been able to pull off the feat. This has, by all accounts, been a very successful event. We've been able to bring over 600 delegates safely from the furthermost corners of the Gambia, on both sides of the banks, brought them in safely in a well-organized manner, hosted them. I have not had one person complain of not having somewhere to sleep, and we've also been able to attend to their other needs, including their feeding. And this has not been an easy task at all, undertaken by a team who only 2 months ago perhaps did not know each other. I thank all of you. I'm only happy that a number of you would gain from it very critical experiences that will go to serve you in the future for the work of this party and even outside the work of the party. When I think about the technical subcommittee that did the planning for the transportation, the logistics subcommittee, at the beginning they appeared as if they didn't even know how to start. But over time, I think they learned a lot and they have achieved considerably to make sure that people are here, as I said, safely. And I'm sure they have plans to get them back home safely, equally safely. The catering subcommittee also took on a very challenging task of providing for the feeding of this large number within a short time. We have seen, like every endeavor, their work has not been without faults here and here, but overall I think they've tried their best and we must commend them. The people responsible for the working on the programs, the media, our relations with the media, and all the other items that went into the preparing for the plans have done tremendously well, and I'd like to congratulate them and acknowledge their contributions. When I talked about those who contributed to the organization of this Congress, of course, I was thinking not only of those who are within the territory, the national territory, but they include also those in the diaspora. In fact, those Gambians, those members of the party who are in the diaspora, do deserve very special mention. Out of love for their country, above all, but also the faith they have come to repose in our party, these various communities spontaneously, without anybody inviting them, spontaneously on their own, sprang into action from the moment we announced the intention to organize this Congress and proceed from there to form the party. In the United States of America, in the UK, in many countries in Western Europe, continuously they are meeting, they are planning, they are mobilizing themselves, and their contribution in terms of ideas, but also in terms of resources, money, are more than what one can thank them for. Their contribution has been tremendous, and it goes to indicate and emphasize the point that distance is no bar to participating and supporting a good cause for your country if you believe in it. But it also means that the party leadership, like all other organizations, must not also make them sit at a disadvantage just because of the physical separation from the motherland. And that's why I'm happy that our party constitution provides for their very effective involvement in every level of the party's leadership and direction. And I will make sure that that provision is carried out. Finally, time has come to say goodbye. Goodbye to everybody, but particularly goodbye to our delegates who have come all the way. Time has come that you'll have to go back to your families and your constituencies. You will be leaving very shortly. I can see the happiness and satisfaction in your face. My prayer is that you get home safely. In that regard, I will give a little advice to you as you board your respective buses to go back. Remember, your personal security is your responsibility also, so remain alert. Your leaders, your chairmen and coordinators must talk to the drivers to drive safely. We want to hear no bad news. We want you to go back to get your homes safely. Related to that, something I should have perhaps done when I was making my thanks is to thank the security services throughout the country, but particularly the security unit that has been made available to us, which has helped in controlling the crowd and seeing to our security. I thank them very much. So I say to you, goodbye. Go back to your constituencies and in your towns and villages. But remember the point I told you. The short term, the emergency activity we have to embark on is the collection of these 10,000 signatures, which have to be done, which have to have national character in that they have to be withdrawn from all the administrative regions. The details of it you have been told, and you'll be told more. From Monday, we will have a plan put in place. Be looking forward to hearing from us through your area coordinators and your chairman. Get to work, organize members within your respective constituencies so that when the forms reach you, within a matter of not days but hours, you are able to fill in the names on those forms and send them down. Because the submission that we need to go take to the IEC so that our party can be registered, so that our party can start working, that submission must contain those signatures. So it's very important When you go home, expect that you will be hearing from us in less than a week, outlining how things should be go. But I want you to go with the determination to go and start organizing from the word go. That is what I need to say, as I again reiterate my best wishes for you to have a safe journey back, and give our greetings to all of them. Tell all of them from this, I don't know which constituency, this is Sanementereng, from Sanementereng to Bakau to Old Yundum, to all the constituencies of Kombo St. Mary, or the KSM. Tell them, give them our regards, but tell them the GFA has arrived. Those going to Banjul from Tobacco Road to Havdai Poto Poto, tell them GFA is at their door, knocking at their door. We have arrived. Those crossing over to Nyomi, that great country of a lot of history, land of the brave, tell the people of Nyomi and Jokadu that the GFA is coming. Those proceeding to Badibu, that warm heart of the Gambia, without whom the Gambia will be a dull place. Tell the Badibunkas that GFA has come. When those of you who go to Salum, Nyani, Nyanija, up to Sami, give them the news. Give them the good news that the GFA is on its feet, it is around the corner, is coming, that Waato Sita. Those who proceed further to Sandugu and to Wuli, give them our best regards. Tell them we appreciate their commitment and we have carried out their wish to adopt the constitution, setting up our party, and that we are just about the ferry crossing over from Basse coming to them. Kantora, Tumana, Basse, Jimara, give them our best regards. Tell them Waato Sita. Waato Sita, the GFA has come, it is on its way coming. Upper Florida West, Lower Florida West, and the three Nyaminas, give them our best regards. Tell them Waato Sita, that the GFA has come. The same I can say for the Jaras and the Kiangs, not to talk of the very dynamic Fonyis. Tell the Fonyikas that we are on our way coming. The GFA is around the corner, and that it will not take any more time before we are with them. Kombo Santo, Kombo East, Brikama South and Brikama North, Kombo South, Old Yundum, Busumbala, and Sanementereng, we give them our regards and we tell them the party has been born on their doorstep and that we'll be out with them very soon and that they should feel ready to move along with us. I think this is what I will say to you as your Yobal, as your Silafando. Tell your people that. Thank you very much.